At the outset, I thank the organizer for taking up this subject on disaster resilience. So we have been talking about disaster resilience for quite some time now. Earlier, we were talking about disaster early warning, disaster mitigations. Now, why is it shift? The shift is basically because we have improved a lot with respect to disaster early warning and disaster management and some kind of disaster risk reduction. As it has been told by the previous speakers, there has been significant improvement in terms of the early warning and hence the early response. Under the leadership of NDMA and MHA, there has been spectacular improvement with respect to early response. I remember those days in 1999 when early warning was limited, also early response was also limited. There was no confidence on the early warning issued. But at present, if I say that there is a low pressure area over Bay of Bengal, so immediately I got a call from the Cabinet Secretariat when to call the NCMC, that is National Crisis Management Committee meeting. So that has been the response, which has been, of course, guided by our Honorable Prime Minister. He takes stock of each and every situation, be it the heat wave, be it the floods, or be it the cyclone. Each and every cyclone is reviewed by Honorable Prime Minister. So when you're the top boss is taking stock of the preparedness, the entire country gears off. And that's the result we see in the past, that we have been able to minimize the loss of lives. But you ask me about the loss of property, yes, it has not decreased, it is increasing. It has increased manifold. Also, it will increase manifold if we do not take the disaster resilience into consideration. The simple reason is that the country is becoming richer and richer. So therefore, more and more properties are at stake. So therefore, if any particular disaster is affecting a particular area, the more property loss can be expected now, as we expected, compared to as we expected previous years. So therefore, we have to take into consideration the socio-economic improvements vis-a-vis the requirement of disaster risk reduction and hence the disaster resilience. At the top of it, there is another threat, that is the climate change. The climate change is an ongoing phenomenon. As all of us know that climate change has shown the results in terms of the frequency, intensity, duration of the various types of natural hazards, especially weather and water-related hazards. So when we plan anything, even if the risk reduction or the resilience, we have to take care of the various types of current status, what has happened during past, say, 20, 30 years, when we have witnessed the increased frequency or intensity, what was our preparedness with respect to resilience, and when we project this climate change in terms of frequency intensity, which is available now with a great consensus, with our system models, etc., also regional climate modeling. So we have to think about now what additional step we have to take so that we can have the enhanced resilience capability as compared to the resilience capability required for normal climate. So when I talk of the resilience, actually, basically it comes to know what are the various steps for resilience. So in a layman term, I say that if a disaster has come, my status before the disaster and after the disaster remains same. I am equally capable now to lead my life as I was leading it before the disaster. So this is the ideal requirement of the disaster resilience. So to do that, there are various players. I am happy that it is a multi-stakeholder combination here, where people will be talking about the various aspects of disaster risk resilience. So to top it all, the first one comes as the early warning. What I will say, it is not simply the early warning, it is first disaster risk which we should be aware of. So when I say disaster risk, that means knowledge of risk. The knowledge of risks will come only from the past historical data. So over the years, the data are improving, but however, still we may have very limited data with respect to certain disasters, which maybe data are available, but they are not digital in nature. Therefore, we have to go a long way now to accumulate all types of data with respect to the characteristics of the disasters, and hence we have the risk knowledge. If you got the risk knowledge, that knowledge can be utilized to develop the various kind of scenarios, impact scenarios for the previous, for the future years. And then next comes the early warning. Yes, of course, there are nodal agencies defined in the country. There is a well-defined three-tier disaster management authority, NDMA, SDMA, and DDMA. We have got also the Disaster Management Act. We have got disaster policy, and we have got the institutional mechanism also. Each and every state have SCOC, and we have got the here national level control center also, and it's being well coordinated that we have seen in many kind of disasters also. So what we need actually, if we consider the setup what is being presented there, they are very active with respect to the early warning, with respect to the early response. But as far as disaster resilience is concerned, perhaps it is a new thing for the entire mechanism. We have come up a long way. We are leading the countries. CDRI has come. Kamal Saab is leading that, and he has done a lot with respect to not only CDRI, also with respect to early warning, formulation guidelines, and policy and planning in the country. NDMA has contributed a lot, and recently we have got a very good discussion about the heat wave and its resilience. So what we need, sir, I will request that we can have whether the same institutional mechanism can be burdened with to look at the disaster resilience, or otherwise we have to identify institutional level for actions towards the disaster resilience. As far as early warning is concerned, yes, we have come up a long way. There is a 50% improvement in the past decade if you compare with the previous decade in the forecast accuracy of various types of hydrometeorological disasters, be it the cyclones, which is the top of all, that is most important, most significant improvement, and we are second to none in the world. And it has demonstrated in zero death in Viparjaya with the early response and coordinated response by NDMA and MHA and the concerned states. At the same time, also, if you look at the floods, yes, there are various types of floods. The large-scale floods, like the riverine floods, they are being targeted. We have got the entire system of CWC, IMD, and MHA, NDRF working together. There has been a quite good response. But when you consider the urban floods, we have very limited action so far. We have to go for a long way to have each and every urban center with urban flood management in this category. With respect to heat wave, cold wave, heat action plan, cold action plan has come up. But if you look at its penetration to the lowest mile, that is individual public or individual institutions, where we perhaps do not estimate properly. We are underestimating the impact of this heat wave and cold wave on the properties. There are a lot of losses because of these, be it the agriculture or be it the power or be it some other sectors. So therefore, we can have the resilience mechanism developed for even the not so visible disasters like heat wave and cold wave, apart from the floods, droughts, and the cyclones. So if you look at other aspects, there comes the communications, and with the leadership of Kamal Saab, we have come up with a lot of initiative and targeting towards common alert protocol. But it's just a beginning. We have to go for the common alert protocol in such a way that each and every person understands the warning, understands the action to be taken in a seamless manner. So that means what I want to say, that it should be in every dialect, it should be in such a form that is simple and triggering, and action can be taken by each individual and each institutions. So apart from that, we have to maintain redundancy. As previous speaker was telling, there should be multiple cascaded communication system among the institutions, among the organizations, so that it can help each other and we can have robust systems. Then, of course, we need some kind of capacity building, training. We have got a lot of training by NIDM, and also many other institutes like IIP also conducts on disaster management. We individual agencies also conduct the training for our own people and other people in the respective fields. But what is needed now, the training and resilience is very limited. Perhaps people do not understand what are the do's and don'ts for the resilience. People do not know the FAQs, and therefore we have to work together to develop some kind of database, some kind of capacity building exercise, so that in addition to early warning and early response, we can have the response towards the resilience. And last one, of course, that is the structural measures like the insurance, etc. I think that we are far away. We have to go for having the insurance for each and every sector, each and every institute, and each and every persons. So that should be the target if we want to minimize the loss and maximize the resilience. I hope we will come up with very good understanding, and we'll go further to improve our resilience mechanism. Thank you.